picked that video because it really demonstrates nicely that the choice is ours. And the title of our talk today is Freedom is Ours if we choose it. If we choose it. And this is a continuation of that book study that we've been doing, the Book of Love and Creation by Paul Selig. And we're answering the questions today. Can we shift our frequency? Can we heal ourselves? Can we heal this world? And I think the video demonstrates that quite nicely, that yes, yes we can. At any moment, right now, in this moment, I can choose to forgive. This moment, right now, I can choose to change. This moment, right now, I can choose love. I can choose to be love. And as we look around our world, we see a lot of different things going on right now. It seems quite poignant. And I'm here to remind you that we are calling these things into existence, calling them into our lives, because they are mirrors. And when I use the term mirror, I'm saying that it reflects our consciousness and our beliefs. Now some of you may be thinking, oh, Rev Sherrie, I don't think so. I did not call some of this stuff and crud that we've got going on right now into existence. Well, I'm going to challenge you on that, because, you know, that's how I roll. And I'm going to use this first quote that I got from page 220 in the book, and it really summarizes it nicely. It says, most of you have settled because most of you have operated with a very, very narrow set of parameters of what you thought you could be, of what you thought you could be. And that's what keeps us in our cages. Sunny's sister was comparing herself to Sonny's talents, to Sonny's gifts. And she was measuring up. And just like that, when we compare ourselves to other people's gifts, we don't measure up. Because we have our own gifts. That's why there's so many of us. Because we have our own gifts to share. The issue is that sometimes we don't believe our worth, our value. And we spend a lot of time looking. You know, one of the taglines for Unity is that we are truth seekers. Well, it's over 125 years now. I think by this point we should be truth workers. Because each time that we feel that we are not enough, we spend time looking for others to fill us, looking for others to tell us our worth, looking for others to value us, looking for others to love us, looking for others to complete us. And as long as we are in that mode of feeling incomplete, we have given up our power. This next quote says, "Your decision on any level that you are incomplete keeps you looking to find completion outside of yourself through an engagement with another. And what you need is the divine self embodying as you. And what you're looking for from others is that action within you, within yourself." We spend so much time searching for the answer, searching for this next thing that once I figure it out, I'll become enlightened, I'll get it, whatever it is. When all along, within is where the answers are. So I wanted to bring to your attention that anytime you start thinking that you need something, you need someone else, that is a time where it's really you needing you. You needing your own self-love. Every time that we do this searching, this wanting for someone else to help us, protect us, whatever that is, we have given up our power as a creator. And we have given that power to that person. Now, some of you may be like, well, I'm not sure that I'm living my life that way. But we've talked about thoughts held in mind, right? Create after their kind. And right now, our society is not nirvana. We can all agree on that, I believe. Is that true? So somewhere in our belief system, we are creating the world in which we live in. And I want to just remind you that any thoughts and beliefs that are created outside of love really is created from fear. Now some of you may be thinking, and I've heard this repeatedly, I'm not a fearful person. I'm not creating from fear. I believe I'm creating from love. And I want to say that each time that you hear a fearmonger, whether it's on TV, the news, the internet, friends, teachers, whatever it is, and they say that the world is a dangerous place, and you agree that the world is a dangerous place, then you're creating from fear. And then when you go to those same fearmongers and then say, please protect me, you are creating in fear, and you are creating systems that are injustice. Every time you hear that that other is dangerous, and you agree, we need to have a lot of laws and regulations to limit them, to restrict them, you are creating from fear. What's the antidote to this? Love, thank you. Yeah, love is the antidote. As well as being aware that all we have right now is this now moment. And in this now moment, we are all safe. In this now moment, there's nothing to fear. Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now, and that any time that we find ourselves in either anxiety or fear, we are out of this now moment. So the antidote to creating a safe world for all is to know that you are safe now, now, now. And what happens for each of those nows that we know that we are safe? We keep creating that, don't we? We keep creating that we are safe, that everyone is safe.
So face our fears and create freedom.
Face our fears and create freedom. That's good. Face our fears and create freedom. But what happens when we're not in that space, when we're not in forgiveness? The Ascended Teacher says this: if you are not in forgiveness, the first thing you have to understand is that you are frightened. That's a possibility. Or we can face it. Usually when you're frightened, it's usually yourself or perhaps of the person that you still hold the anger at. So you see, the anger is camouflaging fear. Usually pride is the culprit. As has been said, we can tell you that you can dismantle it through word. These kids are fearless. They haven't been taught that there's another. They haven't been taught that it's wrong to love each other. They see each other as the same. If you go to my Facebook page, I uploaded a cute little video that was from the UK, and it had pairs of kids, and the question that was asked for each of them is, what's your difference? Some of them were paired with male-female, some opposite race, some able, some disabled, and the responses were just amazing. I like lettuce, and she doesn't like lettuce. So that's a difference. My toes are a little bit smaller than his toes, so that's what makes us different.
I like to eat chicken. Rose likes to eat like grapes.
Okay, and there's a difference. Absolutely. Because they haven't learned yet. They are still in that frequency of love. They aren't so far away from the Creator, from being incarnated here. They still know their truth, that they are love, that they are divine beings. And so the call really is for us to step into the frequency of love. Now, when we step into that frequency of love, it's not like this magic pill that we all take. When we step into the frequency of love, what happens is a lot of the stuff that we have that is unhealed, that is broken, that may be fear or biases, will come to the surface for us to heal them. We have to be able to look at those things internally for us to be able to change. We can't continue to say in the world, I'm not racist, I'm not biased, I'm not this, I'm not the other, I'm all love, when that is not our core truth. When we know that we are still creating a world from fear. So that's what's ours to do. So, you know, I've been talking a lot lately about my driving experiences and how not calm I am when I get cut off. Now, my language has gotten better over time, but there is still this that happens when I'm cut off. And so doing this work, it allows me to figure out, what is this about? And I'm frightened. Each time that I get cut off, I get freaking scared. You know, and I'm like, wow, what about the dogs? I mean, there are all these things that pop up each time that I narrowly miss hitting someone. So now this fear, I get to see that I get frightened. And being aware of that, I now have the opportunity to change. Because I got to tell you, I've been trying to change this for decades. Decades. And while I see that it has gotten better, it's still there in its essence. So now, knowing that, oh, I get frightened, I now have the opportunity to shift that. To really be that frequency of love. And why do we do this work? We do this work because not only for ourselves, that when we shift our frequency and we're vibrating at a higher vibration level, it heals us, but it also heals other people. There's a resonance that gets created when we shift our frequency. And so that means that when we are with other people, they either step into that resonance or they're kind of like repelled. It's kind of like they hit this field, and they just get repelled by it. Sometimes I hear other ministers and the things that are going on in their communities and their churches, and I just think, I love you people. I really love you. And I also know part of that is how I'm resonating and what frequency I am, on who I'm attracting and not attracting. So our work is to do this changing. There's this quote on page 221 in the book of Love and Creation, and it says, when you are resonating at love, you are doing that, but not from an ego level. You are supporting others in rising to that frequency. When you resonate as love, you are the gift of love to others. And as they resonate with you, they begin to feel and become who they really are. That's some powerful stuff, my friends. Really powerful. You get to not only unlock the cage for yourself, but you get to help others unlock their cages as well. Just by your own personal transformation in your work. That's amazing. It is amazing. A lot of times what stops us is our feelings of guilt, blame, our need to blame, and shame. And what I want to remind you is that when we are in those feelings, we are vibrating at a lower frequency. And a lot of that comes from self-loathing and self-hate. And so freedom really comes when we choose to be all we are looking for. When we choose to be the frequency of love. When we choose to transform. When we choose to be the light. When we choose to release all that is not of love. And when we make that choice, we get to heal others as well. This is freedom. This is true freedom, my friends. So in conclusion, what I'd like to ask you to do is to work on a treatment with me. In this book, there are quite a number of treatments that they talk about. Some folks are uncomfortable with the word treatment, but look at it as an affirmation. You can use that. The other thing that comes up that people are uncomfortable with is saying the word word. I am word through this. Through my intention, I am word. And so whenever you hear that term, I want you to think of God in action, or love in action, or the universe in action. But I want you to use the word word, because there is power and resonance in that. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say this out loud, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat this with me. So I am word, God in action. No, I'm going to tell you the whole thing first. I was not clear. I did not give clear instructions. That's fair. I'm going to read the whole thing first, and then I'm going to ask you to join me. So I am word now through this choice to release myself from all guilt, blame, shame that is connected to issues of the body. I am now choosing to release all guilt, blame, shame that is connected to any behavior connected to other human beings. I am choosing now to release all guilt, blame, shame based on any assessment of myself based in cultural norms that have not adhered to or held to myself in wise ways. I am now choosing to release the guilt that has bound me to fear. I am word through this intention. Does it sound crazy to you? Are you comfortable saying these words? All we're doing right now is we're releasing what is no longer serving us and saying what's ours to do next. Okay? I am word now through this choice.
I am word now through this choice.
To release myself from all guilt, blame, shame.
To release myself from all guilt, blame, shame.
That is connected to issues of the body.
That is connected to issues of the body.
I am now choosing to release all guilt, blame, shame.
I am now choosing to release all guilt, blame, shame.
That is connected to any behavior connected to another human being.
That is connected to any behavior connected to another human being.
I am choosing now to release all guilt, blame, shame.
I am choosing now to release all guilt, blame, shame.
Based on any assessment of myself based in cultural norms that I have not adhered to or held to myself in wise ways.
Based on any assessment of myself based in cultural norms that I have not adhered to or held to myself in wise ways.
I am now choosing to release the guilt, blame, shame.
I am now choosing to release the guilt, blame, shame
that has bound me to fear.
that has bound me to fear.
And I am word through this intention.
And I am word through this intention.
Now this treatment is located on page 226 in the book. So if you have the book, you'll find it there. I'm also sending out an email on Monday that will have this treatment in it. So you'll have that if you don't have the book. And here's what I'm asking you to do for homework this week. Each day, I'm just asking for once a day, that you do this treatment out loud. And then what I'm asking you to do is to go to our Facebook page and post if there have been any aha moments for you. We talk about being a community. I'm asking you as a community to take action. I'm asking you as a community to release things that no longer serve you. And as you do this release work, I'm asking you as a community to share that. So I'm looking forward to hearing all about it on Facebook. And I really thank you for your attention. Harney, would you come on up?